Oh, welcome to your third level. You did it. You passed level 1, you passed level 2, and here you are on level 3, and you're about to learn about some slopes. This might be a review for some of you from algebra, maybe not. Maybe you forgot a few things, so sit back, relax, and let's do some slope review. Our objective for this class is for the student to be able to find the slope of a line using either a graph, 2 points, or an equation. All valid ways to do it. So, let's do a little review on slope. A slope is if you have a line, the slope is how much your line rises over how much it runs. All right, how much it rises over runs. Or another way to say that is the change in y over your change in x. And you might not know that, but that little triangle means change. Okay, so there's 3 ways to find the slope. You could do it from a graph. Now, if you look over here, to find the slope, we just go, how much do we go up? We go up 1, and we go over 2. So our slope, and we use m to denominate slope, is 1 over 2. Another way I could do this is just looking at the points. Now my change in y from 0 to 1 would be 1. So my slope would be 1 for my change in y, and my x from 0 to 2 would be 2. So you could do it from points too. And finally, you could also do it from an equation. Now this equation is not for this, I just want to make that clear. But you could also do it from the equation. All you have to do is look at this number right here in front of the x, and whatever that is your slope. And that's the 3 ways to find slope: graph, points, or an equation. So let's start with a graph. How do I find the slope? Well, all you have to do is locate any point on the graph. It doesn't matter where. So let's do this guy. And count how much you rise to give, and then how much you run to get your slope. So in this case, we go over up 1. All right, we go up 1. So we know our change in y is 1. And our run is 2. We go over 2. So our slope is 1 over 2. Now also, if you look at it, it's going upward. So this is going to be a positive slope, and this would be all we had to do. Now it doesn't matter which points you pick. Not at all. Just to give you an example, I want to show that you could pick any 2 points and it'll still work. So let's pick this point over here. Now to find, let's go from this point to this point. So I can go up 2 and then over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right? So I went up 2 and over 4. Now if you look at that, if you reduce 2/4, guess what you get? 1/2. So your slope will always be the same. It doesn't matter what points you pick. Now let's look at this guy. In this case, we're going to see how much we go down, or because we can't go up from here. So we'll go down, right? So to get to our next point, we're going to have to go down 3. So 1, 2, 3. That's our rise. We go down 3. And since we went down, we should probably put a negative there. And now we go over 2. 1, 2. So our slope here is negative 3 over 2. Now, just to make sure that this makes sense that it's negative, if you look, this line is going downwards, right? That's a negative slope. So of course this should be negative. So even if we didn't put that negative sign there now before, if you see that it's going down, you know your slope has to be negative. Now this might be a little more complicated. It's the slope of horizontal and vertical lines. Now if you look at this horizontal line, from go to this point to this point, how much do we rise to get there? Well, we don't rise at all, right? We don't go up at all. So our rise is 0 in this case. Now our run, well, it's infinity. It goes on forever. So we could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 billion. It doesn't matter what it is. Our run keeps going. It could be 3, 1, 2, 3. It could be 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whatever we put under here, 0 divided by 3 is still 0. So when you have a horizontal line, your slope will always be 0. And because your rise is 0, and it doesn't matter what your run is, it's going to be 0 divided by a number. And 0 divided by a number is 0. Now let's look at this case. When we rise, pick any point, we rise, we go 1, 2, 3. All right, so we have a rise of 3, whatever it is. And then we have a run of 0. It doesn't go horizontally at all. There's no run. Now, if you put this in your calculator, you'll see that you cannot divide by 0. This is a rule in mathematics. It is impossible to divide by 0. So when you divide by 0, you get undefined. I'm just going to Shorten that, undefined, okay? That is always if you have a vertical. So if it's vertical, you have an undefined slope. If it's horizontal, you know the slope is 0. Good to remember. All right, the second thing we're going to do is find the slope using just 2 points. And for that, we're going to need the slope formula. And if you look at it right here, it says m. And remember, m just means slope equals y2 minus y1. Another way to say that is the change in y over x2 minus x1, which is the change in x. All right? But we're just going to focus on this right over mya. That's our slope formula. So how do we do it having just 2 points? We want to find the slope of a line that contains 3, 1 and 6, 7 using the slope formula. Well, our first step is just label your points. And by that I mean write down x1, so our 3 is x1, and the 1 is y1. And these little numbers down here, that just tells you that that's our first x and our first y. Now for these, this is going to be x2 and y2. This is our second x and our second y. Second step is to write down the slope formula, which is already written for us conveniently enough. Now our third step, substitute the values into the formula. So our y2 is 7, our y1 is 1, our x2 is 6, and our x1 is 3. We put this into our calculator, and when we put this in our calculator, all right, either you could do the tops first, you get 7 minus 1, you get 6, and the bottoms, you get 3. 6 minus 3 is 3. Now you're not done, you have to simplify, okay? So when you simplify this, you should get m equals 6 divided by 3 is 2. You always must simplify your slope. Don't just leave it like that. Check to see if it can be simplified, okay? So our slope in this case is 2. Now, you might not believe this formula. You shouldn't believe everything you see. So let's check to see if this is actually a slope by checking it graphically. So first let's graph point 3, 1. So 1, 2, 3, up 1. All right, that's our first point. And the next one is 6, 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then up 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, we're going to draw a line through these. Oh, that is way too big. That's the line I want. All right, we're drawing a line right through these two. Good. All right, let's find the slope again. Let's see if this worked. So we're just going to confirm over here. Let's write down, m, and let's check our rise over run. So our rise is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And our run is 1, 2, 3. And once again, 6 over 3 is 2. Look at that, it worked. Nice. Second one. First thing we're going to do, we're going to find the slope of the line that contains 8, negative 2, and 2, 6. So the first thing we do is label our points. This is x1, and that's our y1, our first x and our first y, and this is x2 and y2. Second step, write down the slope formula. I know it says slope, it should say slope formula. So it's m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Beautiful. Now we're going to substitute in our values. So m equals 6 minus, and put a parenthesis if it's negative, negative 2, over x2, which is 2 minus 8. All right, so that's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Remember, if you have a negative, it's good to put a parenthesis around it. It'll just help you out a lot. So if we do this, we get 6 minus negative 2 is 8, and 2 minus 8 is negative 6. You're not done. You have to see if this simplifies. So you put this in your calculator, and what you should get is m equals negative 4 over 3. Now, once again, let's check this graphically because you just don't know sometimes. So our first point is 8, negative 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, negative 2, which is right here. And our second point is 2, 1, 2, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All the way over here. Let's draw our line through it. Oh, okay. I'm drawing a line through our 2 points. Man. Perfect. Now let's see what our slope is. So it's m equals our rise over our run. So let's check it. It goes down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8. And then it goes over. And by the way, since it goes down, let's put our negative in there. And it goes over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, look at that. It's the same thing. So we reduce that. We get negative 4 over 3. And sure enough, it makes sense yet again. We're geniuses. Yes! Final one. We want to find the slope from an equation. Now, some of you might forgot this, but this is what we call the equation of line in a slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. The reason is, whatever's in front of our x is our slope, okay? The m is our slope, and the b is our y-intercept. So it calls it slope-intercept because you can see the slope and the y-intercept when you look at it. So let's look at our first equation. Determine the slope of the line y equals 2x plus 5. Our slope is just whatever is in front of x when it is already in y equals mx plus b form. So our slope is 2. We did it. That's all you had to do. When it's already in y equals mx plus b form, all you have to do is look at what's in front of x, and that is your slope. That happens to be 2. Easy. And just in case you're wondering, 5 is your y-intercept. But we don't care about that. We're just looking for slope for now. Oops, let's get rid of that. So if you look at this problem, it's 2y equals 4x minus 8. And I know what you're thinking. You're just going to say, Mr. Siegel, the slope is 4. I did it. And I would say, no, you're wrong. The reason is, it's not in y equals mx plus b form. Y has to be by itself to be considered in this form. It is not by itself. We got this pesky 2 here. So we got to get that 2 out of there first. So the way to do this is this. We're going to draw a line. All right? We want y on this side and everything else on the other side. And right now we got this 2. To get rid of the 2, we have to divide everything by 2. All right? Everything. So we're going to divide this by 2, 4 by 2, and 8 by 2. And when we do that, the 2's go away. And what we get is y equals 4 divided by 2 is 2x minus, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. Now it is in y equals mx plus b form. So to find the slope, it's whatever's in front of x, and that is 2. So once again, you just got tricked, and our real slope is 2. Sucker! All right, let's take a look at this one. We want to find the slope of this guy. And you're probably going to say, Mr. Siegel, it's negative 2. Nope. Tricked you again. How many times can you get tricked today? Once again, we need y's on one side and x's on the other. It cannot be in this form. It has to be y equals mx plus b form. It is y equals mx plus b. And right now, I got this x over here. So once again, I'm going to draw my line down, and I'm going to have to move my x over because y has to be by itself. So I'm going to add 2x to both sides. All right? When I do that, we get y equals. Now I'm going to put this 2x in front. 2x, right? The 2x comes down because I can't add 14 to x plus 14. And once again, believe it or not, my slope is 2. All right, final question. All right, this is the doozy. This is the hard one. I really want you guys to get this. We want to find the slope of this, and this isn't anything like y equals mx plus b form. All right? We have to get in this form. And so we have to get y on one side, everything else on the other. So let me just rewrite this over here. 5x plus 10, y equals negative 20. Draw the line down. Now we got to move the 5x over here because we got to get y by itself. So let's subtract 5x from both sides. And minus 5x. This cancels. 10y comes down. And look, we're going to put the negative 5x. These can't be subtracted because they're not like terms. So we get negative 5x because we subtracted 5x minus 20. All right, because there's a negative there. We're not done yet though. We still have this 10 here. So we now have to divide by 10. So we have to divide every single thing by 10. I divide this by 10, this by 10, and this by 10. That cancels, and I get y equals, I'm going to put these in the calculator. Negative 5 divided by 10 gives me negative 1/2. All right, 5 divided by 10 is negative 1/2, and it's negative x. 20 divided by 10 is 2. And we bring down the negative. So what is our slope in this one? Well, it's whatever in front of the x, so our x is negative 1/2. And that's how that's done, guys. So remember, for you to find the slope, when it's in y equals mx plus b form, you must put it into y equals mx plus b form first, meaning you solve for y. Guys, you're done with your first lesson. I'm once again so proud of you. Keep on rock and rolling, and I've said it once, I'll say it again. Drink milk, respect your parents, do your homework, and be a good person.